So let's begin our nationwide coverage at the National Assembly House in Hanoi, where coordination and updates from different parts of the country are being monitored throughout the day.
Yes, and our reporter Tung Fan is standing by there with the latest developments on how the national election day is unfolding. And this is where the bigger picture comes together. So Tung Fan, can you walk us through what's happening over there?
Thank you. Voting has started nationwide, and while no ballots are being cast here at the National Assembly House, this is where a digital picture of the entire voting process across Vietnam is taking shape. For the first time, information from some 3,300 commune-level administrative units nationwide will be sent here periodically, allowing members of the National Election Council to monitor voters' figures and the overall progress of the votes across the nation. If you look at the screen behind me, you can see some key indicators, such as total number of voters nationwide, the number of voters who have completed voting, and we can also go into details of each locality right here. Now, digital transformation is supporting the vote counting process, helping election authorities process information more efficiently, while ensuring accuracy and data security in accordance with election laws. We will continue to bring you updates from the National Assembly House in our upcoming bulletins. Now back to the studio.
Thank you. And now here are some important informations to look out for on this election. So today, March 15th, 2026, voters across Vietnam head to the polls to elect deputies to the 16th National Assembly and members of Local People's Council for the 2026 to 2031 term. Now, this is a particularly important political event and is often described as a nationwide festival of will and aspiration. Polling takes place at more than 72,000 polling stations nationwide across 34 cities and provinces. And at the national level, 864 candidates are competing for 500 seats in the 16th National Assembly. At the same time, elections for people's councils at city or provincial and ward or commune levels are being held nationwide, with voters set to elect more than 75,000 deputies for the 2026 to 2031 term. And to ensure participation for citizens at sea, on island, and other remote areas, early voting has been organized at 218 polling stations nationwide. Preparations for the election have been carried out nationwide, including the publication of voter lists, the establishment of polling stations, and the application of technology to help citizens access election-related information more easily. With broad participation from voters across the country, the 2026 election is expected to further strengthen civic engagement and contribute to shaping Vietnam's future development in the years ahead.
Well, thank you, Dylan, for those facts and figures. So we return with Professor Edmund Malensky. I want to take it from a political science perspective. Why are national elections, would you say, such an important moment for any political system, really, and regardless of its institutional structure?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. We often talk about democratic elections as the most important feature of democratic participation. So let me do a little bit of something geeky and introduce a couple of political science concepts. So the first one that political scientists like to talk about is a concept called responsiveness. Responsiveness is, do politicians hear what voters want and then act to enact the policies, plans, strategies, or services that citizens are interested in, right? So, for example, if I don't think that the politician enacted the policies I cared about, put enough effort into raising educational standards or creating jobs, then elections allow me to potentially put pressure on that politician to do more of what I like.
Right, and so thank you so much for all of that information. With this change coming around, what message does Vietnam and this particular election is sending to the wider community?
What you are seeing in Vietnam, and it seems very clear that the Vietnamese leadership is committed to trying to give voters more of a voice in these processes, right? There is historically more information available. In the past, you would mostly see candidates' biographies, right? You knew where they went to school or what jobs they had. But more and more now, we're seeing candidates posting online, on Facebook, on social media, or on the National Assembly webpage, their vision and action plan. So voters have a much clearer sense. Before, I might have known that I was voting for a female candidate, or I might have known that I was voting for an incumbent. Now I know that I'm voting for someone who says they're going to do something, right? And so that actually provides a more direct connection here between the voter and the candidate, or and going forward in the elections, those selection and incentive effects are more viable moving forward with the election. So I think that is the big message here going forward, is that there's more of information available, there are more important policies on the table, and so this election carries an enormous amount of weight.
Right. And so, looking beyond today's vote, how do regular elections help maintain policy consistency and support long-term development in a fast-changing economy like Vietnam?
Right. Yeah. So like the key for the elections going forward, regular elections, is that they are benchmarks, right? So that it gives a chance for voters to be able to say, this is what I was voting for. This is what I thought I wanted, right? I wanted 10% economic growth. I wanted a net zero policy. And if they didn't get those, the election is the chance when they're supposed to be able to say, I'm either happy with what you've done and I want to continue voting for you, or I'm unhappy with what you've done and I want to change pace a little bit, right? And so in Vietnam, the choices that the candidates have are, they're usually voting in a ballot that has 5 candidates for which they're voting for 3, right? So there is some choice that they can look at, and they can look to see whether they've been happy with the historical performance of the politician that's in their electoral district. That's the opportunity that they have.